I think Nebraska fared better than most people anticipated. Certainly Vegas, one-score game, had the ball with about a minute left to try to tie it, Greg. So, again, it's not what everybody was looking for in terms of a upset win, but the team played pretty well, obviously, to hang with the third or fourth ranked team in the country, but also shot itself in the foot a number of times and still was able to stay in the game.
Absolutely. That's the biggest takeaway from it. I think most people coming into Saturday morning were thinking that Oklahoma was going to blow the doors off of Nebraska. But guess what? Nebraska came to play, and a very proud Nebraska team that expected to win that ball game. And, you have some mistakes. You leave points out there. You miss 2 field goals, and then you get a extra point blocked that goes back for 2 points. So, that's a swing there of 9 points right there. And guess what? It was a 7-point ball game right there towards the end. And if that defense could have gotten a stop, could have got off the field a little bit sooner, Nebraska had a heck of a chance to go in there and put that game into overtime. And I think, a lot of people that haven't watched Nebraska play sees that Nebraska has a pretty darn good defense, especially a defense that best defense that Oklahoma's played in 5 years, if you go through the statistics. So, Nebraska came in there and barring some mistakes, they should walk out of there with a win. And, you got to just hang your heads high. And I think the team is. I mean, the last 2 days that we've been around the team and stuff, and 3 days for me actually, and everybody's extremely proud of the effort that they put in, and they believe that they're just as good as Oklahoma, and they're expecting to go down into East Lansing this Saturday and come out of there with a W, and a convincing W. The way I'm kind of reading these guys right now.
Yeah, Levi Folk today, he said, the wide receiver, he said, eliminating those mistakes, we can play and beat anybody in the country, even the number 3 team. So I think they are really high on this moral victory. They're not taking it as a moral victory, but they do feel good about themselves with that showing that they had, minus those mistakes. And then also leading up to that whole week for the Oklahoma game, a lot of the players said, why not shock the world? Like, why don't we do this? We literally have nothing to lose. And I think they did shock a lot of people, especially people that don't watch Nebraska sports a lot, Nebraska football a lot. They were pretty impressed. They got to hang in there. And also, Nebraska should have won that game. When you watch that game, you see those mistakes. If they would have made those field goals, if they would have made that extra point, they could have won that game. And I think that is like the most kind of surprising part for the world, but then also the most hopeful part for them going into Michigan State.
Yeah, you both ran through the points that were taken off the board because of missed kicks and blocked kicks, and a 3-point swing there with the extra point. When I set you both up with the many mistakes, I was thinking it seemed like there was a million false starts at one point in the game. It just seemed like every other play there was a false start that put them in a hole.
Yeah. No, that and we talked to a lot of players about that and coaches, and I mean, false starts killed that opening drive, which they still ended up getting a field goal out of. But and then sportsmanlike conduct penalty, which really hurt as well. But that's something that I mean, you ask about it. They say they work on it and they work on it, but it's got to translate into the games. We talked to Matt Stickerman there on the offensive line, and he's the first one to admit that they've got to just get it right on Saturdays.
I agree with that. And then you look at those two unnecessary roughness calls that Cam Jurgens had. There's a lot of speculation on those, whether they were called for or not. But the players, a lot of them we heard from, was it Matt Sichterman?
Yeah.
That said Cam he should not be worrying about those calls at all. He's setting the bar really high for how physical that offensive line needs to be. And they're really proud of him for working that hard. And I think they're all trying to be that physical and have that name around their offensive line as being super physical.